We are going to get started. We have family call tonight right after this Zoom, so we're going to get started. Let your teams know if they want to hop on. We have a max of 100. We have about 37 on right now, so let them know to hop on quickly because we did share this in a couple of different VIP groups as well. So welcome all of our Triple Diamond sisters that are hopping on. And Janny, we're so excited to hear from you. And for once, it didn't tag you and say nanny, so I'm super excited because it always does that to me. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in and get started. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your story, and then we'll go from there. And I'm going to mute everybody, but you should be able to unmute yourself. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Oh, there I am. I pushed something. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, my name's Janny Copeland. I'm Triple Diamond, and I just had my 5-year anniversary, which is crazy. I got started. It's so random how I got started because I had been approached by several people about doing a business, not It Works. I'd never really heard of It Works, but approached about other stuff. I had done another company previously, also was a health and wellness company. So I was that person that came in thinking that I was going to stink because I had already tried it before. It was back in the MySpace era, so it's not like there was any social media. Nobody didn't even know what that was. It was still like dial-up and all that. But still, I didn't have an upline really. I didn't know what I was doing. I did not like the way the company worked. I never made $1. So when people come and tell me like, oh, I've done that before, thanks, but it really wasn't my thing. I'm like, okay, let me tell you my story. So I already had that kind of preconceived idea in my head. I was not open to something like this. Like I said, I was a hairdresser, so people had hit me up to sell like juice or juice plus. I remember like just different things. And I was always like, no, Sally, just let me do your hair and pay me and then go away. I don't want to sell your stuff. So I was very just not into it. So when I started seeing posts, probably 2 months, I wish I knew exactly how long, but probably it was 2 months, maybe more, that went by. Did not know her. I found out later, I was randomly added in a mom's group. She just randomly added me. And somehow, and I think it's like a God thing, because I never accepted people that I didn't know. I was that girl too. Like, oh, I don't know you. Who are you? No. But I somehow slipped through the cracks and I started watching her. And I reached out to her, which now what we call that attraction marketing. But I reached out to her and I was like, okay, I don't think I can like get people to sell this, but I think I can sell the products if they work. Because back then I was selling like $30, $35 bottles of shampoo and hairspray. And I'm like, if I can sell somebody $30 bottle of hairspray, like I can sell these wraps if they work. They probably won't work and I'll probably quit, but I just couldn't get it out of my head. I joined like 11:30 at night. Didn't have the money, all those things, didn't have the time. 3 kids, my youngest was 5 months. So I was like busy as heck, just all the excuses in the world, but I joined. So, but my goal was 500, like put a comment in the comments if your goal was 500 or less. Cause I think it's cool, especially if someone new is watching, like look in the chat and see how many people joined for 500 or less. I think almost every VIP rank or higher that I've ever talked to says that. So I think that's really cool. To look at where you can go to, even if that's your goal starting out. So it took me about 4 months to go Ruby, which isn't super fast, but it's not super slow. It's kind of just like whatever. 4 months to go Ruby. I also want to touch on really quick, because there's only a couple hours left, you guys, to get your conference ticket. If you're on the fence, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to weave this into my story because I wanted to go to conference. You guys, I joined September 30th. So it's like anybody who just joined this week or this month, right? It's a lot to think about going to conference. Like I just started this. I just spent $100 I don't have. Now you want me to spend $300 I don't have, So I talked to my husband about it. I was like, my upline's posting about this thing. It's in Florida. I know that's kind of far. Long story short, I didn't get the go ahead, and I really didn't feel if it was going to be good either. Cause I didn't even know, you guys, I hadn't made my money back yet. So I didn't go. That's my only, I don't really have regrets. That's probably my only regret, is just not going that first year. Who knows what would have happened if I had gone that first year, but I did go when I had hit Ruby, and I was a Ruby for 8 months. And I went to Green Carpet, was my first event. I want you guys to hear this part. I flew there by myself. I had not met anybody in person yet. I had met my upline like one time, but I had not met anybody else in person. I stayed in a hotel room with 6 girls. We ended up having a blast. It was the messiest bathroom, messiest hotel room ever with that many people, but it was so much, like, I would not change it for the world. I went there as a Ruby, and I like to say it was like a stale tortilla chip. Like, I had been a Ruby for a while, and if you feel like that, whether it's been, maybe you've been a Ruby for 2 years, I'm telling you, with the level of effort that I was putting in, I felt like the eternal Ruby. I was so tired of the word Ruby. And I was making more than average Ruby pay because I was enrolling people. I was getting fast start bonuses every month. So I was getting paid more than a Ruby, but I was sick of saying, I'm a Ruby, whatever. So I'm just saying that because I went to that event, and 5 weeks after that, I hopped Emerald like it was a little jumping stone, and I was only Emerald for 1 paycheck, and then I was Diamond. So that was a huge, huge, huge game changer for me. And it's not just about the event itself, although it was amazing. It was about the people. I met people, it was raining one day on the beach. All of the girls I was staying with in the hotel, it was a 2-day event back then. So you had a ticket for either day 1 or day 2. When I got there, I found out my ticket was for day 1, and everybody I was staying with had a ticket for day 2. So not only did I go there by myself, but I had to go the entire second day by myself all day walking around because everyone I knew was at the event. So I met a bunch of girls, and we all hung out in this little tiki thing under the, umbrella, and it was raining, and I learned about diamond bonuses. I just picked people's brains. I met new friends. I don't know, you guys, all I can say is that if you can do whatever you have to do, if it's borrow money, if it's put it on a credit card, like it is an investment. It is not a vacation. It sort of is vacation too, but it's an investment because it changed everything for me. So I went Diamond after a year. And then 17 months later, after I started, 6 months after I went Diamond, 5 months after I went Diamond, I hit double, and they had double good bonuses. We got 30 grand for me going double. Lucas got 20 grand. And that was another pivotal moment for me, because I remember we were on a Zoom. Zooms were still brand new. It was like a brand new thing. And we were sitting with our team, waiting for checks to drop. And it was like oh my gosh, I'll never forget the butterfly feeling, like, just, am I going to be disappointed? Am I going to be blah, blah, blah? My check was $5,400, my very first double check. And I was like, just sort of crying. And I was like, I just knew things are never going to be the same. That was the first time for the girl who just joined thinking I'm never going to sign a DT. I even said that I'll probably never sign anybody to sell. That was my thing. I'll probably suck at this, blah, blah, blah. So when I saw that check, that was the first time I said, I might not do hair forever. Like, I might not do hair till I'm 60 like my mom, or 65 like my mom. Like, I think there might be more to this. So that summer, we left our jobs, left our 2-bedroom tiny little house in California. My husband retired early from his career that he probably would have been at for 30 more years. And we left California. We went to Arizona. I turned in my key at the salon, and that was over 3.5 years ago. And I have been doing this from wherever. I like to say from home, but a lot of my best work is not at home. It's in the parking lot, or in the, hotel rooms, or in wherever I'm at with a phone. So, so hit triple, my 2-year and 1 month mark. I hit triple. Now I'm like the stale tortilla, and I'm not stale tortilla chip though. I technically am triple, but there's nothing stale about where I feel right now. So anyways, that is my story in a nutshell.
I love that.
So 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. So we started about the same time then, because my 5-year will be in December. And I was the same. I went to Green Carpet by myself. I didn't go to conference, but I went to that Green Carpet in July. My husband came, and we flew from California, but we didn't know a single soul there. And it was kind of like, for us, it was like, okay, we're going to go do this and see if this is what we want to do, like continue to do, or if it's just extra work at this point. But those events literally, and we flew all the way out there. You guys too, from California, right? For a day. 2 days. That's a long day of flying.
Oh, it was crazy. So the month you joined, I went executive in December. So 2 months. So that's another thing, you guys. This is a boom season right now. So anything you've heard to the contrary, it's only if you decide it's going to be that way. Because I was brand new in September, promoted to executive in December. And here's the other thing. I had never once, it was brand new to me. I didn't know this business. I didn't have that planted in my head that it was, oh, people don't order in December, people, all these things. Like I had never heard that ever one time. For me, it was just another month. I was like, okay, I want to get to Ruby by my whatever day. So I have to be executive by the end of the year. Like I have to hit executive. And I did. No one told me I couldn't. So I just wanted to plant that seed. So if you're brand new or if you haven't hit your first promotion yet, like go after it, because there's no way that you can't. Like there's no reason you can't. So
yeah, there's so many top leaders that are promoted in November and December. I mean, I think Claire Flores went ambassador in November, her team, and Cheyenne Knox. So yeah, so
you did. A couple people. Casey
yeah.
Brookover promoted to triple on December 31st. Like I promoted to diamond on October 27th, and I promoted to triple diamond on October 28th. So I promoted 2 huge drinks in the fall. Like this really is a boom season, you guys.
That's awesome. And anything that we're planting is definitely coming to harvest at the end of December. If not now, it's definitely coming with those New Year resolutions for sure. So
for sure.
Perfect. Okay, so how do you run your business? Do you do Facebook and Instagram, or do you do either or?
I built up into about a year ago Facebook. Like I maybe signed 1 distributor in 4 years on Instagram. This last year, I would say it's probably 60-40 Facebook to Instagram, but I do sign a lot of people on Instagram now, customers from Instagram and distributors from Instagram. So sometimes I'll try to like pull them over to Facebook just because like I feel like they're just going to see more. I don't post as often on Instagram because of the algorithm and keeping the pictures all neat. I post a lot more on Facebook. So if I have a potential from Instagram, I also try to have them on both platforms, but I definitely do sign. Oh, and then I'll mention this because Lorianne, I just saw your comment about face-to-face. I don't do face-to-face as much anymore because I've been home. I don't see people's faces as much for the last 3 years, but the first year I signed probably half my distributors face-to-face because I was still working. So if you're busy, if you have a full-time job, to be totally transparent with you guys, my business got harder when I quit my job because I didn't see people all the time. Clients, I probably had at least 8 or 9 of my clients ended up becoming distributors. Almost every one of my clients at least ordered hair, skin, and nails, if not more products. Like my clients, and they were all my Facebook friends. So that was awesome because they would sometimes ask me, so what is this stuff you're posting about? Because they would see it and then I would be, oh, you're sitting here for 2 hours, so you're going to leave a customer. So I would sign a lot of my customers and stuff from work. My first 3 distributors, people I worked with at the salon. So if you just signed up, or if you're watching this, I don't know if we're recording or what, but if you have a full-time job, I don't care if you're working a grocery store or a real estate agent, or you work in a bank or a salon or whatever, you have an advantage that the stay-at-home moms don't always have. Not to say that they can't like get out there and be involved in church and school stuff and play dates and kids sports. Like you can totally get yourself out there, but it's the busy working mom that has the advantage if you're willing to hustle, because that is how I got to diamond working the hours that I did. I was working both sides of it. So that helped me a lot.
I could not agree with that more. And that's something that we don't really talk about a lot, but it's really true because I'm thinking back as you're talking, and I built myself to diamond while working full time. And it's just because you're out and about and you're with people your own age and, or like-minded and stuff. So that's a really, really good point. I was just reading the comments real quick. Okay, perfect. So do you sign most of your customers through stories, polls, host to post? How do you get the most customers?
So stories, just regular posts still on Facebook. I do kind of quality, or I don't necessarily product post every single day. I used to. When I post more vague posts, you know, and then I seal the deal with them. Live videos still, product live videos, host to post. Okay, the thing with host to post, you guys, I am one of those people that kind of stopped doing it because I was like, oh, well, it ran its course and like blah, blah, blah. But I've been on a few Zooms lately where I was taking notes like, okay, here's the thing. If there's people, more than one or even one person that is swearing like this is working for me, they do not have pixie dust in their body that makes them different than you. If it's working for Sally and it's working for Joanne and it's working for Christy, there's no reason it can't work for you if you find your niche and like emulate what someone's doing that if they're killing it. So I've been changing it up and I have like so many new potentials I can't even keep up with them. Like I need to get after this, like during the family call. That's one of my things. I gotta like keep messaging these people and catching up with some of my host posts that like now I have a couple that I'm like, oh there's like 12 comments and I didn't even see this one. Like that's a good problem to have. That's how it was back when it was like blowing up. You'd see one, you'd be like, oh crap, I like didn't pick up my phone for a few hours and this lady's post has like 18 comments. That it's not like every single person gets comments. Some of them get 2, some of them get 6. I've got one with like 19 comments. One of them got 31 comments. It was actually one of my brand new distributor had her post it. So it's kind of the same thing. She got 31 comments, got her first 2 loyals. Like, here's the thing. You got to make it your own. What killed it for everybody is everybody using like 1,400 distributors using the same 4 posts. That does not work. Keeping things more simple. I took out my friend Janny. I took that out. Like, do not have people post my friend Janny needs blah, 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 blah. Like, I think those words, my friend so-and-so, is like Facebook, the little Facebook trolls, wherever they are. They're like, nope, that one's not going to get seen. So that was a huge thing. I ditched the pictures. I don't have them post a picture, have them posted on a colored background. I do not have them tag me. So that's the biggest tip I can give for that. And that's working for me again. Okay. And then you guys, I hate to say it, but parties, I will just be totally honest. And I've always hated them, but I've still done them. That's how I got myself over the hump to diamond. There was like this volume lag. That was like, I just want you guys to know as a blue, I am blue, but I want to be at an actual party. I don't want to stand there and answer questions while my hands are trembling. Like I am not a blue when I'm running a party. I don't like to do it. But I did it to get to diamond. I remember doing it to get to double. And here's one thing that I did too. I messaged people that I was friends with, not in the business. And I would be like, hey, this is a really good tip. So write this down. Hey, will you do me the hugest favor? Well, okay, it's not that huge, blah, blah. I think that's just how I talk to my friends. I'm like, okay, if you say yes, I'll babysit your kids. Or I would say, I'll highlight your hair back when I still had hair. Or I would say like, if you say yes, I'll rub your feet. Or like whatever the relationship I have with that person. Then they're like, okay, what is it, girl? Or whatever. Then I say, will you have a few people? I don't call it a party. I say, will you have a few people over? I'll do all the work. I'm trying so hard to get to the next level. Or for me, it was a bonus. I was like, I'm going after $50,000, which was true. 30 for me, 20 for Lucas. It's like, I'm going after a $50,000 bonus. I am pulling out all the stops. I will seriously massage your feet for 20 minutes, or I will babysit your kids 3 times. And I was saying that stuff because that's like my personality. And I had a couple people flake out, whatever. But I had a couple people do parties for me, and I was signing loyals from those, even though I hated them. Even though I still hate them, I've done 3 sample parties since I moved. I'm in Oklahoma now. And I'm in a brand new town that I am trying to build. Not trying to, I am building a team here. Like come hell or high water, I'm building a team here. So guess what? I have to get my carcass out of my house, and I have to get out and let people see me. And every single new distributor that we sign here, which I've got a little group going now, every single one of them, I'm having their launch party. So we're always in front of new people by doing launch parties. So it's not just like I'm inviting people to my house every single week, which you can do that. And there's people that have crushed at doing that. But what I'm doing is I'm going to different houses and restaurants or whatever And then every single time we do it, it's somebody's launch party. So they're inviting their aunt and their grandma and their best friend and their coworkers. So again, I just want to reiterate, I hate doing parties, but my goals are bigger than the things I hate. So I do them. I do the things I like and I do the things I don't like. But I just wanted to say that because parties do work. If you don't want to have them all the time, at least do launches for your team and teach them how, because yeah. And Jessica, they're Huntington Beach. That's where I started doing this. My original, my OGs are Huntington Beach, and we used to do parties every other week and trade off who was going to have it at their house, and everybody could combine their own potentials and everybody's potentials. Obviously you sign your own potentials, but we all just worked as a team. And they just started doing parties again, even though I'm across the country. Like, I'll go live in their party and they put me up on the TV and I did the little thing. And like, you guys, this is 2000, what year is it? 2019? It's 2019. Like, there's no excuse for people not to at least have a launch party. So in a nutshell, a little bit of everything. I just confetti. I just try to do it all.
Well, I think it's different in different seasons too. So like some seasons you can get crazy volume off social media. Some seasons you have to start back over again. Like, like you said, moving. I actually went diamond without posting one single post on social media because I did all belly to belly. And it's so crazy to think how far away I'm from that and our team is from that in the 5 years of social taking over. But one thing with parties is if somebody is going to go, they're either going to sign up as a customer or a distributor, because if they are not interested, they won't go to the party. Because people don't really like going to parties, and it's kind of crazy because I'm not blue at all. I don't even have a percentage of blue in my body, and I partied my way to diamond. And now we do like online events, but I love the idea of doing the launch parties live. Like, that's really cool. We have a couple people this month on our team that they're venturing out and doing them. We do a lot of vendor shows, but parties are way better, I think. So
yeah, I love parties. I mean, I don't love doing them. I love, here's the thing. I love driving home from them. And I love, like, I used to have the loyal customer forms, which that's still what I do. And I love driving home and looking at the little stack or however many there are. And I hate driving up to them because I always have anxiety and I always feel like, I just want you guys to know I still feel like that. So don't shy away from it. Just do it anyway. It doesn't mean you have to do them once a week, but do them because there's volume and here's the other thing. Sometimes somebody will sign up with you. Then you help them with their launch party. Maybe they are not going to be the person who stays. We never know, right? Maybe they're a month later going to be like, whatever, fizzle out. They don't want to put in the work. But maybe their aunt who brought their best friend to that party that you went to and you met her and she signed up as a loyal, maybe she's going to end up signing up, or maybe she does sign up and your original whoever stops doing the business. But because of that party and all those people in that room, you had no access to those people. You didn't know them. They were her launch party people. But maybe one of them is going to join and be your Triple Diamond or Ambassador Diamond one day. And you would have had no way to meet them, or like, that's what blows my mind. And I have seen, not to that level yet, but I have seen that I've had people on my team that have gone diamond that I would have never met if they hadn't sat down at some party and been on somebody's invite list that was not mine, that I never would have known if it wasn't for doing somebody's launch party. So it's pretty crazy.
Yes,
it's like a spider web of connections.
So. It is. Sometimes it's not who you know, but who they know. A lot of times.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's not who you know, it's who other people know. So don't look at it as a waste. It's crazy. It's crazy.
All right. So what is the biggest setback that you've had in your business and how did you push through it?
Oh gosh, there's been a few. I mean, 5 years, I'm sure. I know you've had a few, and there's been seasons. There's been, here's the thing. I'm just hardcore no excuses. And I'll just to give you a couple of examples. And it doesn't mean I'm not an empathetic person. And I totally get that things happen and pets die and people die and you get sick and all these things. But here's the other part of it. I have always looked at this business like a real career. Maybe not in the very beginning because it was extra money, but I still had goals. So I treated it like I'm not going to just do this 2 days a week and whatever. I've always treated this like a real job. So if this is in fact your real job, which I think it is for everybody, or you wouldn't be on here on a Sunday night, and something happens maybe you do take a day to shake it off, or maybe you even take a couple days and you just need to regroup or cry or whatever you need to do, depending on how severe it is. But you don't call your boss the week after your grandma dies and say, my grandma died, I'm just too devastated, I can't work anymore. Like, I don't personally know anybody who would do that, because you still have to pay your bills. Your grandma would want you to pay your bills. And this is the part where like somebody's going to get their feathers ruffled. But you know what? Here's the thing. When I was going double, and it was back when there was $1,000 Ruby bonuses and double good bonuses and all this stuff, my grandma did die. And it was, I think, the month before I went double, but I was still helping people on my team for their promotions. And that was still setting up for my promotion the next month. So I know it wasn't my actual promotion month, but we had to travel to her funeral. And I remember one of the girls on my team who was she also was one of my best friends at the time. She was going Ruby, getting $1,000 bonus. She was having a real hard time with charting. I just knew, she wasn't going to get there if I didn't help her. And this is the night of my grandma's funeral. My kids are asleep in the hotel. My husband's asleep in the hotel. I was in the bathroom sitting next to the toilet because there was a plug for my phone. And I was helping her freaking place her royals with 20 minutes left in the month. I don't know. It's not like I wasn't sad, but it's my freaking livelihood. It's my career. It's my goals. It's my dreams. It's my hopes. The day that our dog died, and she was 13 years old. And you guys, how many of you have had a pet die? It sucks. And it's really sad. But I didn't even tell my team. I didn't post about it on my timeline because I knew, how do I post about my dog dying? But then like, BOGO wraps, please buy order from me. Like, I thought to myself, like, if I post this on my timeline, everyone's going to like just leave me be. But I don't want them to leave me be. I want my inbox to blow up. And I cried and I sobbed and I was so freaking sad. But I worked my business with my little cup of hot tea or whatever with a blanket over me. And I busted my ass because dogs die. I don't know if that makes me sound like a horrible person. But here's the thing. Like, I had goals. Your life is going to happen. Some people get cancer and some people have horrible things happen to them. And I am not saying that you don't take time. I'm not saying that you do not be a real human and grieve things and whatever. Take a day or whatever it is. But then get back to work. If you're going to, think about it, honestly, think about it like this. Would I call my boss and not go back to work because of XYZ? If the answer is no, then don't do it for this either. Don't treat your It Works business like that. If you wouldn't treat your paycheck job like that. If you ever want, and I want you guys to comment, how many of you are still working a job? Full-time or part-time? Put one in the comments. If you ever want this to replace that, you have to treat this like you treat that. You don't have, the hard part is you don't have a boss. It's you. Get a mirror, or this is our mirror in 2019. Hello. Look at your reflection. Look at your reflection and it's on you, babe or dude or whatever. It's on you, because if you ever want this to replace that or equal that or have a comma in your paycheck, whatever your goal is, if you ever want that to happen, you cannot make excuses. The hardest time I ever went through in this business sucked. The only time in 5 years I've ever taken real time, and it wasn't even 100%. It was like, but it was really hard. And my team already knows everything that I'm about to say, but just to put it in perspective. Okay. And I just want to reiterate, like, I'll try not to cry, but there are people that have been through far worse things. I've never lost a child. Holy crap. Have you guys heard some of the people's stories in this business that have lost a child at 8 months pregnant or 9 months pregnant or an actual child? I mean, it's crazy inspiring, the strength that's in this company, the people that don't make excuses. And they're the ones that are giving me strength too, because I'm reading the comments. They're the ones that are giving me strength too, you guys, because there's some times that you just don't want to effing work. And for me, 2 years ago, and I was triple. I was in Vegas at the country concert. Also, we just had our 2-year anniversary of the biggest massacre in American history. And I was there. And I wasn't just there. I was like covered in blood and asphalt and tears. And it was the worst night of my life. Hands down. I hope it's the worst night I ever have. It was horrible. My best friend, I had 4 people on my team with me. My best friend and her husband were right behind me. He was shot 2 times and he's fine. I mean, not fine. He doesn't have the use of his right hand, but he's alive and all of those things. After I got home, talk about, like, it was so freaking hard. I didn't know what, and to be honest, for like at least a week, I mean, my mom flew down from Colorado and I'm 37 years old. Well, I was 35. She's like, I'm coming down. I'm helping. I'm like, I don't know what I need. I just want to like be in my bed and cry. And like, I didn't even want to be around my kids. I didn't understand why I felt like that. I just wanted to be left alone. Like, it was the weirdest thing ever. You guys, I'm the most like fun, loving, karaoke, singing, freaking, I'm a fun person. I'm a social person. And I just didn't know, I didn't know which way was up. I didn't know what to do. Immediately I started thinking about my business because I'm like, I'm the sole income earner in our family. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to work my business. I didn't know, I even posted in the top leaders page because we have, you know, our weekly team Zoom. I posted in the top leaders page and I was like, can somebody help me? Because there's no way I can lead anything right now. I can't talk to anyone without sobbing. I just want to be in a dark room. Can someone help me? And there were some amazing sidelines who stepped in and helped me like do lives on my team page and help my team, all that stuff. And little by little, like I started coming back to life. But here's the thing. I remember talking, this was literally the weirdest, hardest part for me, because I remember talking to my therapist that my mom, you know, basically I didn't have a choice. And I'm so glad she did that for me. I was talking to my therapist and I explained to her what I do for a living. And I said, I don't know how to do it anymore. Like, how do I post? I said, how do I post about health and wellness products when I'm like a freaking mess? And I said, how do I post about making money and all this great stuff when I am so devastated? Like, and you guys, I could barely go to the store without crying, like the loud noises. It was horrible. And she said, just be yourself, be transparent, and just be honest. So here's what I did. And you guys, it was freaking terrifying. I didn't just post, I went live. Actually, it'll come up on my Facebook memories in about 2 weeks, because I think it was about 2 weeks after I was like, okay, now like I have, you know, survivor's guilt, PTSD, like it was not good. But I was like, I gotta freaking pay my bills. And I remember talking to my mom on the phone and I was like, that bleep, bleep, bleep took so much from me. He is not gonna take my effing rank too. And I'm not kidding. I said that. I was like, I am not gonna lose my rank over like the same month that this happened. He is not taking my paycheck. He's not taking my triple diamond. Like, F that. And honestly, guys, that did kind of light a fire. But I went live because I heard a video that Mark did. And I wish I knew where it was, somewhere on somebody's YouTube, but it was about fear. And I heard Mark do this video and it was like, face, you can, oh my gosh, forget everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. And I was sitting there and I was like, this is what I'm going to do my video on. And I'm just going to be honest. The people that already know what I do for a living, like, I was just so worried about people thinking like, I don't know, how do you go from every day, like, posting about what had just happened to us and all these people that died and all these people, like my best friend's husband was shot, all this stuff. I just didn't know. How do I post about my business again? Like, getting over that hump was the most awkward thing. So I did a live video and I called it something about fear. And I talked about that and I cried. Like, you guys, I have the worst fear of crying in front of people. So like, here, this is like my nightmare right now, but I talked about that. And then after that, it was just kind of like, I had kind of like the green light to just slowly get back to my business. And I did. And not only that, but on, let's see, the shooting was October 1st. And on October, I think it was the 29th or the 28th or something, I was hosting, it was called a One Team, One Mission, then not a Try It, but I was hosting a One Team, One Mission with Claire Flores in California. And I really, really wanted to find every reason not to have it. I remember pricing out security guards. I was like, maybe we can get a couple security guards, but that would be more than the cost of the rental. And some trusted people were like, Janny, you don't need security. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to be in a room with that many people, like, it was just, we didn't have security. And not only did we do that Try It, we sold that baby out. We had standing room. Katie, you were there. I think we had like standing room only. And we did our gives back to raise money for my best friends and the medical stuff and all that. And we raised like $900 and something for them. Claire put together a movie of what we had been through and like a tribute. And I was standing there like a bulk crying baby. But the point is, I remember standing in that room and I told them all that I almost canceled this Try It. Or Odom, I almost, like, we could refund all your guys' money. But at the end of the day, like, standing in front of a room full of people wasn't just standing in front of a bunch of people. It was standing in a room full of family, because that's the only way I could describe it. So that was like a 10-minute answer, but that truly was by far harder than going through like death in the family, harder than going through. I mean, that was, it felt like a death, because to this day, I mean, there are parts of me that are stronger and better and all of that. And I'm still, going through things, but, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, that was definitely hard. And you know what? It definitely made me, I'll say it didn't happen right away, but it made me more red. For those of you that know the color personalities, like, I am red when it comes to excuses. And it's not because I think I'm perfect, but I am definitely not an excuse maker. And when someone like, oh, well, we had a long weekend and then I decided that, just long weekend turned into not doing anything for 2 months. Like, that's your goals. That's you giving up on your goals. I'm not angry with you. You should be angry with you. Like, don't complain about your check when you stub your toe and you can't work your business for a week because you had to go to urgent care or because your son got the flu. Like, I can't even tell you guys how important it is to not use excuses, because the only person you're hurting is yourself when you do that. So, yeah, anyways, I would say I was like 97 blue, 3% red. And there's got to be some yellow in me, because I do cry easily. And every single person on my team who's ever promoted to Diamond, I have freaking cried and had snot dripping down my nose. So I know there's yellow. There has to be. But the majority of my personality, I'm a blue through and through. But this has definitely made me more red with excuses, for sure. And there's a question. Hold on. If someone has excuse after excuse, I call them out on it, and it's out of love. It's like, look, I think I was reading something, it's one of the John Maxwell books where he said, if you have to be willing to have hard conversations, if you care. It is so much easier to just let people keep doing that. If you lovingly call them out on it and give them your honest, like, have that hard conversation, it's going to be a turning point. Either it's going to really solidify that they're just not here for their goals and just let them go, or they're going to appreciate you for being honest and caring enough to tell them the truth, because it's not always easy. It is so much easier to just like let it go and let it go and let it go. But if you care about somebody, then you're going to have the hard conversation. So I would say have the hard conversation at least one time. And either it's like shaking a branch. If they're really about to fall and they're not going to stay and they're not going to be strong, they're just going to fall, but at least you can move on. And so can they with their life. And if you give them that little shake and they're still there, they're just going to be stronger afterwards. That's my take on it.
I agree with that too. And, you know, if they have excuse after excuse after excuse, we always say, like, it's easier to give birth than revive the dead. Like, you know, if they don't want it and they're excuse driven, then, I mean, I'm red too, clearly, but you know, you got to give them that chance, have that crucial conversation. And like you said, a lot of people are their own worst enemy. So I'll have those kind of conversations, but I'm like half red, half yellow. So it'll be like, so are you okay? Are you okay though? Like after I go like red on them, but it's so true. Like, yeah. So Jennifer said, that's perfect.
That's so funny. Yeah. And honestly, I don't know. I think it comes down to, the fact that this type of business really is a personal development plan with a paycheck attached to it. And the higher you get with the personal development, like the higher your check follows. So the people who make a ton of excuses and excuse after excuse after excuse, I promise you, I will pretty much say 100% of the time they're not doing personal development, because that's one of the main things that I've learned. I'm sure I made excuses in the beginning, and I'm human. Sometimes I still do, but it's to myself. And then I have to check myself. Like, okay, there's no reason you needed to watch 3 hours of 2020. Like, you could have messaged 149 people or whatever. There's still times where, like, it's not like I'm not human, but I check myself because my goals are too important. And the reason I have that filter is because of personal development, because I didn't used to have that. But now I'm like, oh, what am I freaking doing right now? Or being intentional, all those things that you learn through personal development. And the victim mentality, it usually goes hand in hand with the excuses. It's usually the same person. Victim mentality equals, well, I have these excuses because blah, blah, blah. Not like they call themselves a victim. In fact, they usually get pretty pissed off if they're referred to that way, but that's what they're doing. It's the same teeter-totter. Like, it's okay for me to make this excuse because I have had this horrible XYZ. So personal development, I think, is the catalyst that breaks through that and helps you not be an excuse maker.
Totally agree. And it does become more and more and more important the higher up you climb the ranks. It's almost like you become like a therapist to people once you're triple and above, you know, like trying to get to know
them.
And
I already was a hairdresser. I already had the unofficial therapy license or whatever.
Through that. What do you do for self-development mostly, like now in today's time, you know?
I would say right now it's mostly like I'll do like a podcast every day, or like if I'm driving and I'm out in the sticks now, so everywhere I drive takes at least 15, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour. And I'll listen to a podcast, or while I'm adding to my network or something that doesn't take a lot of thinking, I'll listen to something. Books, I'll read at least 10 minutes to 30 minutes, I would say, depending on the day, and I journal. So I started journaling last November, and I've missed days and stuff here and there, but I have filled out 3 full journals that I ordered from Denise Walsh. Her journal's amazing. I'll probably order another one just because it's like comfortable and it starts to really create that habit. Her dream life journal. And then I've had a couple Rachel Hollis's journals, and then just a couple random plain Barnes and Noble journals. But I do gratitude, like journal gratitude. I've listened to so many different people start to say the same things, the same habits, and you start to realize that there's a common denominator here. If everyone from Oprah to Tony Robbins to Rachel Hollis to like all these randoms in between that are successful, they're all telling you certain little things to do, I start doing certain little things. Like, that's just, for me, that's a no-brainer. Go-to podcast, Ed Milet is my number one. I love his podcast. I watch his he's got little minis on Instagram sometimes, but Ed Milet, Trent Shelton, who was a speaker at Rachel Hollis. I went to Rise a few months ago in Dallas, which was amazing. So he's awesome too. I don't think he has a podcast, but his Instagram is extremely inspiring. And then there's a couple random ones. Message me if you want, and I'll send you the screenshot of my podcast page, because I can't remember all of them, but there's like 5 or 6 that and then you guys, Pam Sauter's podcast is really good. And yes, Trent Shelton has YouTube. So thank you. It's kind of pretty much the same as podcast. It's free. So no excuses for personal development, because you don't have to buy a book. You can start out with YouTube, or podcasts are free, I think too. But, what was I saying? Anyways, yeah, I lost my train of thought there, but, I was going to say somebody's name, but I forgot what it was. Anyways, my thing with personal development and motivation, and I just had this the other day, so I already said it in one Zoom, but I love it. So motivation is like taking a shower. If you don't do it every day, you're going to start to stink. So and the same thing with conference, you guys. Conference is amazing. But why do you think some people, the ones that are already like working hard, planting seeds, so excited, they go to conference and then it's just like that fire turns into like an explosion of growth? It's not the people who were completely dead in the water and then they went to conference. It's the people who were working super hard and then went to conference. They were already like pouring into themselves every day. And even after conference, like some of those people are like, well, how come she didn't explode with growth 2 months later? Because she went back to her life and did nothing, or just stopped growing, stopped pouring into herself. You could take the best shower ever with the best, most expensive exfoliating loofah from Bath and Body Works with all of the amazingness, and it could be the greatest shower of your life. But if you don't shower for 2 weeks, you're still going to smell like a homeless woman. So you have to continually do these things. You have to listen to the podcast, read the book. Leaders are readers. Somebody said that, and that was genius. So I've got like 100, at all these books. I need to get a bookshelf, but where are they? See all those? Wait, they're over there. Yeah, there they are. See all those books? Got to get a bookshelf. Some of them I've read, some of them I haven't read, some of them I'm going to read again because they were amazing. Sorry.
I feel like that's the greatest analogy I've ever heard, and I'm totally going to use that with my team. I love that. It's so true.
You know how there used to be quotes, and then corporate would take them on a corporate background and like put the leader's quote and give them credit for it? Well, yes. Secretly, I always really wanted to have one of those, and I don't know if they still do that. But all these years, I've been writing down. Every time I think I have a good one, I'm like, oh, they start that up again. This is gonna be Janny Copeland's quote, like whatever. And I have another one. This is Pam Sauter's quote, but I wrote it down, and it was such a freaking good one. You can only control 2 things, your attitude and your effort. And if you break that down, it is such a release of pressure. Like, you don't have to control people saying yes. You can control the fact that you asked them and the fact that you follow up with them, and your actions. You can control your actions, which is effort, and your attitude about it. You cannot control, what people do or the outcome, and stop being so addicted to the outcome. Like, oh, she said no, or oh, she's broke until next month, so that was a waste. Like, no, it wasn't a waste. You can only just focus on what you can control, let the rest go, and you will not get so tired. That's why so many people walk away, because they're freaking wearing themselves out trying to control everything. Let it go and become consistently aggressive with what you can control, which is your attitude and your effort. So I love that. That was a turning point for me when she said that.
Awesome. I love that too. So good. So it was Ed Milet and Trent Shelton were the big ones. And then also Pam Sauter. Her podcasts are always on point. Like, I hear her podcast and I'm like, okay, got it.
Yeah. Her podcast is amazing. And that's been on my dream board too for like 3 years, is to be a guest on Pam Sauter's podcast and to be on the Show Me the Money call. So I can't wait. And I already have my outfit picked out, because now she does a video version. So I'm not kidding. The whole visualizing, journaling, I've got my outfit picked out for my ambassador speech. I don't even know if it really exists in real life, but I'm going to find it. Like a white blazer with like a little bit of shimmer, but not too much. Dark skinny jeans, a flowy tank top. Nobody steal this from me. If you get there first, I'll be mad. High heels, probably like leopard hoops or some type of big dangly leopard earrings, slicked back ponytail, like really slicked, big earrings, clean black eyeliner, and like bright red lipstick. And half the people just left the Zoom because they're like, she's in that job. That is for real, you guys. I've written it down in a journal multiple times. Like, going there. So.
Hey, whatever gets you there. And I'm actually shocked that you haven't been on the Show Me the Money call. So it's going to be soon.
You know, it's gone back and forth if you guys paid attention, and I'm weird, so I do pay attention, but usually it's presidentials and above when you promote to president above. But a year ago, there was some time where there wasn't new presidential ambassadors promoting for a little season, and they were having triples on there, and I was like, I wonder if she's going to backdate 2 years. No, did not happen. But you know, I don't know. Well, it's 8:50. But can I leave you with this? Because this is really, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you guys, this was a turning point. A turning point for me was last year, almost exactly this time. I hosted a big corporate event, and some of you guys were there in LA, and Pam Sauter and Margarita were there. This is also why, like, you should host events if you can, like as much as you can, because corporate, if they're in town, they usually like you go to dinner the night before, and it's super awesome. So I got a very, very small dinner. There was only like 5 of us there, and I sat next to Pam for 2.5 hours. And some of the things she said, which unbeknownst to me, Danielle Boyle was across the table. She just went ambassador, her and her husband, Ben Boyle. She was sitting across the table taking notes, which I got these 2 months ago. When Kelly Brown was on the Show Me the Money call, she was referring to this dinner with Pam Sauter, and Danielle's her upline, or in her upline, I think. So she gave her the notes, and I was sitting there in the car, and I'm like, they're talking about me, and they don't even know it. I'm the one that she was saying these things to. Like, I was the one she was talking to, and Danielle was like taking notes. So anyways, just a couple of things from this. This is what Pam said to me, and these are her Cliff's Notes version of. I remember leaving that dinner thinking, I wish I had a recording of that. I would pay $1,000 to have a recording of everything she just said, because it was over 2 hours. I just couldn't remember it all. But she did say, stop wanting to have people who want this with you. You want your goal. You make it happen. No one is going to rescue and make this happen for you. Stop wanting people to come alongside you. You decide, and then those people will come, not the other way around. If you keep waiting for people, then it will never come. You go and do it, and they will come. They won't come until you decide. I remember her literally look every time I kept, because I'm an overthinker, and I'm like, but my nap, and she wouldn't even let me get the words out. And she was like, nope. See, do you hear yourself? You make a decision, and you will be amazed with what will happen when you truly make that decision. You'll have somebody go diamond in 30 days. Somebody that you didn't even know will be in your inbox. And like, it was pretty crazy, you guys. So she said, the only thing keeping you from presidential is you're not decided, and your chart follows suit of that. Stop thinking about that and decide you're doing it. Your chart and everything will follow. She said, if you truly decide, none of this will even enter your head, and your chart and legs will literally follow like little children. I remember her saying that. Stop thinking about wanting people to want it. Stop thinking about your spouse who made a bad comment. Stop thinking about legs crumbling and how you built it alone. Thinking about that is what's holding you back. Not that those things happened. You're focusing on those things, and you're thinking about that instead of just deciding. If you really decide, your chart will double in a month. And you might not hit it that month, but you will hit it the next month. So the only thing you can control is yourself. Get your mindset out of the gutter. Take up your action. Your chart will follow. So anyways, you guys, it was pretty crazy. And then another thing she said that I wrote down, you can only control 2 things, your attitude and your effort. So yeah, she's a wise woman, and she's the reddest person I've ever met, and the most honest person I've ever met as well. She scared me a little bit that night, but she's incredible. She paid for dinner too, so it was pretty amazing. It was a pretty good night. I was like, yeah. And,
awesome. Oh yeah, Kelly and Danielle are on our team, so it's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty nuts because I heard them talking on they were both on the call the same night. That's right. So I was driving and they were talking about this dinner, and Pam was talking to someone about blah, blah, blah. And Danielle took notes, and I was driving and I was like, they're talking about me. I'm the one Pam was talking to. So then I messaged Kelly and I was like, can I have those notes? Because they were actually said to me and I would love to have them. And this was just a couple of months ago, and I reread them and I just started crying because I needed to hear some of those things again.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a very turning point for sure. So.
Oh, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know it's not easy, but you are one strong woman. And I know my team is like blowing up my phone. They're like, oh my God, I'm crying. Like when you're telling your story, now they're like, she's amazing. Like, so we just appreciate all of your
experience. I love you guys because I seriously hate crying in front of people. And I really, really tried not to, but I'm like, apparently the little bit of yellow did take over. But just know that whatever setback happens, and you're going to have setbacks. If you haven't yet, then be grateful for that. But it's going to happen at some point. And a setback does not become a failure unless you sit with it. Unless you sit with it and decide that you've had a setback. So you just keep feeling sorry for yourself and it just compounds and compounds. And then all of a sudden your setback becomes your ending. Your setback is it's nothing as long as you keep going. It does not become your story if you don't decide that it becomes your story. So I guess that's the last little bit that I would say. And let's all just pray for something so freaking amazing to be launched on the 10th. I'm so excited.
I know. I can't wait to find out what it is. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, I'm thinking about the Show Me the Money call. The family call is in 3 minutes, which really means like 7 minutes because they're always super late. Who's going to see that one and be like, oh yeah. No, but so hop on the family call. Thank you so much, Janny. I cannot wait to meet you in person at conference and give you a big old hug. And if I ever need a red butt kicking, I know who I'm calling. So
for sure.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.
All right, you guys.
Bye.
See you soon.